The time now 16 minutes past 2, and we welcome into the studio two world-class musicians, Jan Pascal and Alexander Killian. Hi, thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, thanks a lot for having me.
Have I pronounced your names correctly?
Yeah, it's great.
More or less? Yeah, more or less.
It's just Jan, it's not Jan.
Oh, Jan.
And Alex.
Jan.
Alex, but Alex is also wonderful.
Okay, well, that's a bit formal, isn't it? Jan and Alex, then. Thank you so
wonderful,
much.
wonderful.
Let me give you a build-up. Germany's leading jazz and world music guitarists with a passion for flamenco. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I'm allowed to say we are quite pioneers in this area because until now only Spanish guys played the flamenco guitar.
Yeah, and we use the flamenco guitars as an instrument, but we play a lot of music like Latin music or jazz music, and we combine that, and that mixture is very interesting.
Well, people can come and see you this evening. You're performing at a lovely venue in Bristol, the Hen and Chicken, which is in Southfield. Let me talk individually to you, first of all, a bit about your background. Jan, you were born in Wolfsburg, is that right?
Würzburg.
Würzburg. From a family of musicians.
Yeah, that's right. My grandma came from Silesia, and she was a studied church musician.
Uh-huh.
And so we had a lot of music at home.
Is it true you received your first guitar from a grandfather in Spain?
That's right. He lived in Spain, and he pushed me to play the guitar.
Yeah, but your first lesson was from your uncle, is that right?
That's right. We had a lot of music in our family.
Yes. So there was always music going on. You have composed music yourself from a young age, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. When you were a tender boy, as it were, or a teenager, what sort of music were you composing in those days?
Actually, I had long hair, and I was listening to a lot of British music, and
right.
that was great. So now these days are for us very much exciting and thrilling to be here on this island, where so many great musicians came from and influenced us.
Certainly. I mean, the big association between Britain and Germany, we tend to think in a cliched way of the Beatles playing in Hamburg, of course, but it was a lot of the British acts went over there in the 60s, and they were very warmly received, and I think that's continued to this day. There's a great connection between the countries. Now, you went to boarding school, didn't you? I think you were taught piano to start with.
Yes, I took piano lessons and guitar lessons, and later on flamenco lessons.
Yes,
that's it.
And you founded your own recording studio, didn't you, some years ago?
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to experience with recordings and with just arranging directly on the record.
Yes. Was it a proper big studio or just in a cupboard somewhere, a tiny one?
Yeah, tiny, small one.
You would think these days with all the equipment that's available, you can do it all in your home, quite easily, can't you? Yeah. I mean, when I used to be in bands back in the 1980s, I used to be in various bands. You had to pay, of course, to go to a studio, and you were always looking at the clock because every hour that went, it was another £20 or £30, and you'd soon run out of money, and you hadn't mixed it.
That was the reason why I founded our own studio.
Yeah, and also you founded your independent label as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's quite modern these days.
Yeah, yes. Lovely. Okay, and Alex, a guitar prodigy from an early age. When did you first take up the instrument?
Oh, I took up the instrument with 10 years, I think. But the passion of playing the guitar was always inside of me.
Yeah, and now you won a special prize at the age of 15, didn't you? Tell me about that competition.
Yeah, it was an international guitar competition in a German town called Osnabrück, and it was a very important point of life for me. So I took the decision to make my living on playing the guitar.
Well, quite a risky one. I suppose you could always end up just busking, get you some money in. You graduated with a diploma in jazz guitar, didn't you? Where did you study?
I studied in Würzburg. It's Jan's birthtown, so it was Würzburg, so a place that is very important for both of us. And it's not easy to learn and to study the flamenco guitar. So you have only the choice between the classical guitar or the jazz guitar. And the classical guitar was for me too far away, and I wanted to know about improvisation, about scales, and that's why I took up the studies of the jazz guitar.
Indeed, you took a lot of master classes with some great players, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And you were also invited to play, I see, at various places, including Israel, Russia, Georgia, Spain, Italy. That must have been a fabulous experience.
That was really fabulous. So there had been years when I played in 30 different nations. I played in the band of Moldavian musicians, Georgian musicians of Turkey. It was a wonderful teaching time and learning time.
And yeah, but prior to meeting, what were you doing, sort of music-wise? Were you playing as a solo artist, or you were part of a band? What were you doing?
I had bands, and later on I was a teacher, and I gave workshops, and so Alexander came into one of my workshops,
yes,
and I picked him up.
You met up at a flamenco guitar workshop, and there was a sort of spark between you. I mean, what was that connection at the time, do you think?
Well, we're actually thinking about it, but I guess it's just I'm very much attracted by his technical skills. He's great, he's fabulous, he's kind of a leader in technique. I don't know many people worldwide playing on this in this area. This is like Eiger North face, this is climbing.
And I really love his way of playing, as it's very poetic. So my complete guitar playing is based on technical skills, and so I love the lyrical way he's playing.
Indeed, you've been described as a sort of pair of opposites, like water and fire, but you do complement each other, don't you?
Yeah.
So you formed the duo Café de Mundo. Tell me about the origin of the name of the band.
So somebody, a critic, actually a newspaper was writing, our concert reminds him to Café Cantante. This is in Spain, a very important place, which is profound flamenco affine. Yeah?
Yes.
And so we changed it to Café del Mundo because we are looking for a mind openness, and we are looking for encounter in our music and encountering people and different styles and mixing them up. And I guess this is quite important in these days, today especially. So this is my goal with the music.
Well, I was reading up on flamenco on your website, and you say flamenco is about love, longing, death, and the joy of life. And there's a brilliant quote: "If God was a musician, the flamenco guitar would be his instrument." You're sure of that, are you?
I'm quite sure about that, yeah. As there's so many emotions inside of the guitar, and you can express yourself very good by playing it.
Yes. Now, you played together live for a number of years now, and I understand that live is quite a sort of rousing dialogue between the pair of you. You play off each other a bit, don't you?
Yes, we do.
I mean, does that mean that every performance is different in some way?
Yes, we got a lot of improvisation in our tunes, and I guess it's important to go on and developing an instrument which is now still quite a lot of in folkloristic context, and it quite calls for getting it out and spreading it into the world and mixing it up with poppy tunes, rock tunes, jazz tunes.
Lovely. When you're improvising, though, it doesn't always, I'm not talking about you personally, but it doesn't always work. I mean, I've been to jazz bands and you'll see someone improvising on the clarinet and you think, well, maybe they shouldn't have improvised that. It's a risk, isn't it?
Of course it's a risk, but that is interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
So every evening is a very special moment to us, and so it's always interesting. Even when it's unique. Even when you play 120 concerts a year. Yeah,
I was going to mention that you've toured widely, 120 concerts a year, roughly. Among them, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, Switzerland, Austria, Poland. How do you go down in Spain? Traditionally the heartland of flamenco.
Yeah, that is like really very much interesting and thrilling to us because we are now invited again in Madrid and Granada,
in Cordoba,
at Alhambra in Granada in June this year, and this is very exciting. We came with a question. We came and we asked, hey guys, how about you feeling when we play your folkloristic instrument? And after the concert they said, if you do it on this level, just go on.
Well, you are very acclaimed, and you've got several albums under your belt now. Your latest album is called Beloved Europa. Tell me a bit about that particular album, which is newly released.
It happened to us that we were invited to many places, as you already mentioned. And so we had one experience in Samos, playing a beautiful concert, but this was also a place with lots of refugees. And one day we went for having a swimming in the Aegean Sea, and there was a grey, ugly boat, Frontex, coming in front of us, and we were shocked. And so we thought about, this is like in the old Greece anthem, myth, like having this bull, the
bull coming out of the water.
Coming out of the water and picking up the beauty Europa and raping it and taking it away. And so this was very impressive. And so we wanted to give an attitude to our feeling. This is not politic, and this is just an emotional feeling that we maybe should have a little bit more of dialogue together, or just to cooperate more.
Be a little bit more sensitive.
It's your way of making a statement, because your music is principally instrumental. At least with the album title, you can say something about how you feel.
Yeah, and that's also very important, that everywhere on the world you can understand instrumental music, as there's no singing.
Sure. And you've played at many music festivals as well over the years that you've been together. And tonight you're at the Hen and Chicken in Southville in Bristol, so we're very lucky to have you there tonight. What about the repertoire this evening? Of course, flamenco is by and large at the root of your music, but as you alluded to, you do a bit classical, jazz, pop, mixed in with that.
Yes, we play the flamenco guitar, but we don't play flamenco. So we play jazzy, poppy, flamenco, tango style, inside, a wide variety of styles to be interesting for all the listeners and to introduce introduce the beautiful flamenco guitar to everybody.
And we are grown up with pop music and rock music, so even those influences are inside of the music.
Well, it sounds like you've got a very bright future. Looking at your touring schedule on your website, I mean, you've got concerts going right through to the end of this year. I mean, do you enjoy life on the road, travelling around all the time?
Very, very much.
Yeah.
We love it. We have a wonderful manager. And,
That's Christina, is it?
Yeah, she is.
and we enjoy every single minute.
Yeah. Do you share a room or do you have separate rooms? How's it going?
Separate rooms.
Fair
It is
enough.
good.
Yeah.
Married.
Lovely. Okay, well, tonight at the Hen and Chicken, you can enjoy Jan and Alex, Café de Mundo. It's going to be a super event. The Hen and Chicken is on North Street in Southville. We're going to finish up with a tune. What have you chosen to play for us?
We play a song called La Perla. That's from our album, also called La Perla.
Okay, in your own time. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.